Hello, welcome to Miemie's Keepsakes. I'm Marnell. So we are back here today to work on our hashtag summer swap 2023, and we're going to start on the little pouch to put all our ephemera pieces in that we're going to swap. So I talked yesterday about the things that you'll need, so hope you've got your fabrics ready and threads and stuff like that. So I'm thinking let's just jump in and start with the base. So this is my base fabric. It's just a linen, a old pillowcase or sheet would be great, or even if you have an old shirt that you can cut up. Anything, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. This will all be covered, so it's just to sew all those little pieces of fabric onto. So first of all, we need to decide how big we want our pouch, and I am thinking, for those of you who are interested in doing something like this, it should be a smaller, not overwhelming project. And I want to put these tags in there that we've made yesterday, and maybe a postcard or two, a couple of stamps, and maybe an envelope that I've decorated. So I don't want it to be too big because I do need to mail it. And it's just, instead of a paper pouch that I usually make for these swaps, I thought I need to change it up a little bit. Beth always makes the most amazing it's like a kit that she puts together, and it is just beautiful, and I'm very bad at stuff like that. So I'm thinking this should be a good size. My tag can go in here, and then maybe a journaling card or something as well. I will give you measurements as soon as I have cut it. So I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger. We're not going to we don't really need to worry about seam allowance because we're just going to make this look rough and grungy around the edges. So let's cut it down here. Okay. And so to tear, you just cut a little piece, a short cut in, and then just tear. Usually it tears easily. And then, okay, so the next thing we need to know is how long. So we fold it over, so it would be like if you're making a fabric envelope or pouch. I'm thinking that's a good size, and then I just need a flap. Okay, so the flap, okay, and I will give you the measurements if you want to follow. This is how I figure it out for those of you who do not want to measure, who's allergic to measuring like I am. Okay, so the shape is, like I say, it would be just like you're making a paper pouch. Let's just get rid of some of these threads. So you'll start with a long rectangular piece of fabric, and then we're going to fold it over just to give you an idea of what we are working towards, and that's going to be our flap. Anyway, so let's measure, and then you guys can know how big mine is going to be. So it is 12 inches. It's about 16.5 inches long, and then it is 8 inches wide. Okay, so 16.5 long and 8 inches wide. I am not sure about my flap. The flap is very big, as you can see. I might make it smaller, but I made it longer on purpose just for now until I start putting my pieces out, my fabric pieces. So what I like to do when I start the pouches, I ironed my fabric and now I can find my doily. Oh, there it is. So what I like to do with the pouches is use a doily to give me that shape, if you want that. If you simply want a regular closure like that, then you don't need a doily, and that's why I kind of cut it longer. So I have this doily with a red edge. I know it's white, but we're going to cover that. But then I can cut it, and that would give me a beautiful shape for my pouch closure. It will look like that, and that's what I usually start with. Okay, so I'm going to cut that just a little bit longer because you want that to fold over there so it doesn't stick out. So I'm going to cut it this way. So that's my first thing to do. Let's open it up. And that's just how I start and what I do. And maybe just get the middle here. Just made a little fold in there. That's the middle of my fabric. You might not be able to see the fold. Okay. And then the doily, same thing, just find the middle and line those two up. See how I didn't cut it straight at all. That's why I'm looking for the middle and the middle. But again, we can either cut this straight or a little straighter so it's not playing with our there. Okay, and so I'm going to pin that. So the first part is just pinning and then deciding where our fabrics go, and then I'm just going to go around this and don't cut the doily. And it doesn't have to be exact, but you just don't want that bottom fabric to show. Okay. And again, I am not a pro at slow stitching. I just want to make that clear. This is beginner to hopefully beginner, because somebody who's done this before will think this is just a very easy project. Anyway, so then your next step is to start grabbing your fabrics. And I would suggest, can I get my camera up a little higher so you can maybe see more of it and get rid of the tags? I would suggest to just kind of start, put things down, and go from there. Don't stress too much at the beginning. We're just going to pin. If you don't like something, you can always change it again. And the other thing I would suggest, I like to tear my edges. I like to keep them like this. I like that look, but if you want them straight and folded over, it just gets more complicated. So we're going to keep it simple. For this project, like I say, do whatever. If you've done this before, obviously do what works for you. So yeah, don't start with teeny tiny little squares, otherwise you're gonna be making this for the next 20 years. You're just building a background, and maybe try to not make everything too square. At the first one I made, all my little squares were almost the same, and I had to change that. But anyway, anything can be changed. So here we have just a couple of, so my fabric that I started off with was this, and I definitely want this in the middle of my pouch. So I'm actually not going to add too much of this to my background, so I'm going to leave this one for now. So you do need to start with a little bit of a plan, just a little one. Let's see, and I do want to avoid, because I know I probably will go towards making this more a blue pouch. I want this to be more of a red pouch than a blue pouch, so I need to focus on not adding too much blue. That's what I'm trying to say. And maybe make the blues more of just a little accent. And this is, I have, I think, what, 3 or 4 tea towels here. I destashed my tea towels because a lot of them had stains on it. But there's nothing wrong with it. I like using tea towels because it has a nice texture. You've probably used it a lot and it's been washed a lot. All of that for me adds a lot of texture and interest. Okay, so we're just putting down. I'm not even thinking about it because we just want all the white to be covered for now. Oh, this fabric do not want to tear, so I'm gonna cut it. And let's do a little bit, and you'll see they overlap. That's what I want, because then it's just easier to secure all those edges. And maybe I need a little bit of this up there, but okay. I'm thinking I'm going to move this to this side, and this one here, just because I don't want both of them here, even though this would be the flap. Okay. And maybe I can move this one up a little bit, because I do want to cover this flap with a bit of fabric too. Let's add a little bit of this. Hard to tear. Yes, what have you guys been up to? I hope you'll enjoy making this pouch. It's, like I say, I like adding a pouch with my, or an envelope, decorated envelope or something like this, that with my swaps. The idea that I had was to maybe add this rose here on my flap. So just start thinking about the things that you've already collected and how you're going to incorporate them into your overall design. It's not that you have to make life and death decisions already. We haven't put anything down, and a lot of this will be covered. It's like paper collage. You're going to cover a lot of it and think, why did I put it down? So for the flap, I don't think I need more. If I'm going to put this rose up here, cut it out and put it on here, or otherwise I'll do some of this flowers maybe on the flap. So I'm going to leave the flap for now, I think. Oh, and I've pulled out all my threads. I threaded my needles and I've pulled out the threads. So let's keep working on this. I think my flap, I just need to put pins in. I think the flap is good now. And so this part I can't show you exactly. This part would be how you want it and how you want your overall little pouch to look. Okay, I can show you the basic idea and the rest is up to you. Okay, there. And now, so let's fill in more of this, and let me see what else I have here. I do have a solid red. It's not the best fabric, but it was the only red that kind of worked with these. And the solid would be nice because then you'll see some of the stitches. Okay, and I have this. Let's add this here on the bottom, or should I just add the whole thing in here? Yes, let's do that, and then I can, is it big enough? Let's see. I can bring this one. Okay, let's do this. For some reason this one is not straight. Let's see, where's the straight part? There, and then I can move this one over a little bit. Okay, there. I like the frayed edges. I'm not gonna get rid of the threads, so I'll put that one down there, and then we just need something to cover this. I don't think I want more blue in here. Let's do this one again. I think it should be, I'm worried about it being next to that one, but I think it should be fine. Okay. Let's see how it looks. Come on. Okay, so I am now happy. Oh my goodness, sorry, I have not been in the middle of the screen. I am now happy with my design. I'm going to pin it. I hope you saw most of that. I'll have to look through the video. Pin it. So we're just making sure each little piece is secure. What you can do is here where it overlaps, sew that on, and then this one on top. Because we're going to do some running stitches on top, I usually don't do that. I just sew around this one and it will secure that piece on the bottom. Okay. Just pinning, pinning, pinning. What is making that noise? Okay, so now this is what we're going to start sewing, and I am not concerned about if there's some bubbles. I actually like that. So if you are concerned about bubbles, or like if the fabric is not totally flat, then add more pins. That's all advice I can give to you. And then so this is how our pouch will look, more or less, when we're done. That will go, we can cut that off. It's too long. Okay, it's going to look something like that. And it's not perfect. I am all good with that. I like the kind of rustic look of it. This thing is not straight, and that's why it looks funny. But that's a personal preference. If you want it all perfect and square, and go ahead and do that. Slow stitching, according to me, has no rules. It's like junk journaling. You can do whatever you want, if you ask me. Okay, so that's the basis. We have lots of threads. I just need to thread my needle again because it came undone with me moving the fabrics around. Okay, so I'm gonna bring the camera down a bit so you can see the when I'm sewing. Okay, so now we're gonna start. We're happy with the layout of our fabrics. We're going to start and sew down all these with a invisible stitch. Maybe I'll just show you here everywhere on this red piece of fabric. You might be able to see that better. So you make a knot, and not such a big ugly knot like I have here. I'm gonna cut it just a little smaller. I don't know why it came out so ugly, but anyway, so you start from the back, okay, and then where your needle came out, do I need to, I'm sorry, I might be adjusting the camera. So where your thread comes out, you're going to put the needle almost just next to it and pull it to the back. And then on this side, you're going to go in a little further. And then here, almost right next to it, back in. And then on this side, a little bit further. And then right back in, and then on the back a little further. So can you see that on the front I'll have small little stitches. Don't know if you can see it well enough, but small little stitches, and then on the back you'll have the bigger running stitches with just teeny tiny spots there, and that's where the stitch shows on the front. So this is the back of your fabric and this is the front of your fabric. So now let's start doing it on our project. So we're going to make a knot again, and now I'm gonna just go up a little bit. I'm so sorry but this is the only way I can think of doing this. I have to say I'm kind of nervous. Don't usually do any stitching on camera. Anyway, it's hard because it needs to be very close. So we're going in on the back, okay, and then On the front, I'm going in very close, and in the back a little farther away. So we're going to keep doing this all the way around for all of these fabrics, because that's how we're going to sew it down without or minimum threads showing. I'm not saying no threads are showing. So once you get the hang of it, and it's I don't know, for some people it might be hard, others it might be easy. You can go in close to your thread and just, without flipping the fabric over every time, just do this as well. It's just a little faster. Okay, and don't mind those little stitches showing. I'm using white thread on red. It's fine. That's the look we're going for. And if you don't like it, then obviously use red thread so you don't see that. But I specifically use the white thread so you can kind of see, and I hope you can see. See, there is a teeny tiny little stitch that's showing, and that's just okay. And like I say, if you use red thread, it probably won't show that much. So okay, now we're getting here to a spot where the fabric starts to overlap. I'm going to definitely try to catch that corner. I lost my thread. Just have to rethread quickly. Okay, so what I like to do is, I see my thread is there on the fabric. I like to kind of just catch that corner, because the corners are usually the ones that flips up. So I kind of did an overcast stitch there on that corner. So you can keep doing that, or like we did these, if you don't mind if you're not thinking your fabric's going to fray any more than it already did. Sometimes if you're using delicate fabrics, like say for instance satins, they would keep fraying, and then you would keep doing this overcast stitch. But I'm thinking, because I want to keep it simple, we're not going to be too concerned about that. We're just going to keep going with our, I think it's a hidden stitch, this one. You know, close to the thread, come out a little bit further, just keep doing it. And we're going to go around this, all the way. So as you can see, it's not going to take you 5 days to do this, maybe an hour, to just keep working on getting your fabric secure onto your backing fabric. Okay. Just keep going. And the more you do this, by the second patch of fabric you're doing, it's going to be like you're being a pro, because it's repetitive. It's, you know, you'll get the hang of it pretty fast, because you're going to do this stitch for an hour or so. Yeah, it's called the hidden stitch, I think. Anyway, don't quote me on that. Like I say, as a beginner myself, I don't know a lot of stitches yet, so I am assuming you guys know as little as I do, and I'm not really hung up on the technical things again of, you know, the names and whatever. I just want to sit here and enjoy it. So okay, so here I am at a corner again. Just want to put a pin in here to keep it in place. So I'm going to go, see, I'm off this fabric here, and I just want to keep that corner, so I'm going to do like an overcast again. So I'm off the fabric, this gingham, and go on to the fabric again. And so now I'm just continuing again to, I hope that makes sense. Please leave me, let me know in the comments if this helps. I mean, I'm doing this for ladies who asked, because they are, I just want to cut this straight. On the gingham it just looks really, I'm doing this for the ladies who asked, and they were all saying they are total beginners. So we're going to go slow, and I might over explain this. I'm just trying to help whoever is just starting out, like I did about a year ago, and you're kind of unsure, especially if you haven't sewn before. So here I'm at the corner again. See, I'm on this fabric. I'm just gonna make a fairly bigger stitch. Go. Oh, I lost my thread again off the fabric. Okay. I need to. Okay. So now I'm off the fabric, and I'm just going in again on my gingham fabric. And if you're thinking, this looks like it might fray a little bit more, you can always put a extra little thread in, another extra stitch in there. Okay, so now my thread is getting a little short. I'm losing it constantly, so I'm going to end it off. So if you're ending it off, you go to the back and just catch this white piece of fabric. Don't go through all the way. Try to just catch the white piece of fabric, and then you'll see there's a loop. Put your needle through that loop and just pull it tight. Okay. See, I'm losing my thread. And then just make 1 or 2 more stitches, and then I just like to do another loop, and then I'll cut it off. So I'll put my needle through the loop and pull it tight. 1 more stitch and you're done, and cut it off. Okay, so that, see, I'm not even done with this one gingham piece, but I've done all the way from here to there, and I am just going, you just have to continue doing this all the way down. Let's do a little bit more, and then I'll do it off camera, and you guys don't have to sit here and watch me do this. Again, remember, this is not going to be done in half an hour. I mean, if you look at these things, you think, oh, that's going to be fast. It takes time, but that is the fun part of it, because you sit down and enjoy just stitching, relaxing. It's the fun of it. So okay, I'm starting at the bottom here. I just kind of put my finger there. I want it to catch that blue piece of fabric, because I'm going to start doing sewing down my blue piece of fabric. So I come in from behind, and yeah, this happens a lot when it's pinned. Your thread gets stuck in the pins. Okay, so then we go close and out a little bit. Okay, now I have a very long piece of thread because I wanted it to last. Okay, so close. Yeah, so you just keep sewing and sit outside in the sun, enjoy the sun, or watch a movie. This is mindless. You can, once you have the hang of it, you can sit and do this and visit with your friends and just keep your hands busy. And like I said, we're gonna keep this very simple, so if you've never done this, we could have just done a block, but I felt like it would be good to make something that you can use and incorporate in the spring swap if you're participating. If not, then you have a cute little pouch that maybe you can add a gift in for Christmas, or just put your threads and stuff in for slow stitching. Anyway, so If you want to participate in the swap that Beth from Yes I Made Myself and I are hosting, you have to sign up by. Why is there? I don't know. There's a noise here. Or it's just me. Anyway, sorry, I'm distracted. If you want to participate in the swap that Beth and I are hosting, you have to send one of us an email. Don't send an email to both of us, just one, by Friday the 9th. And my email address is miemieskeepsakes, Miemies, keepsakes @gmail.com. It will be in the description box. Beth is Yes I Made Myself 3 @gmail.com. And it's open for Canadian and US participants. And by Monday the 12th, we'll let you know who your partner is via an email that we'll send out to you. So expect an email if you signed up on Monday. And then you need to contact your partner. Send an email to your partner and say, hello, I am Betty and I would like to swap with you, or I am Susan, or just make contact. I would suggest, if you are unsure, maybe this is the first time you participate, just say, hello, it's my first time. I'm not sure how many items to send. Usually people aren't too finicky about stuff like that, but if you can definitely talk to your partner about that. Your swap partner. Don't feel like you can't ask questions, or if you have questions, then just get in contact with us. So now I want to sew that piece down. So I'm just going to keep going. I've already done that piece, but that's okay. I'm going to keep going until I get to this spot here, and again just go over to the next piece of fabric. Okay. Take the pin out. So okay. And just keep going, and because these two are overlapping, I'm catching both of them, and that's why it's good to have them overlapped. Like in here, as you could see, it kind of lifts, so I'm going to just do one of those stitches just to catch that again, the overlapping one. And then I am just, you're gonna keep going to do this right around this, all around and all around every piece of fabric, just to secure it down. Oh, and that was a bit of a big stitch, but again, it's slow stitching, it doesn't matter. We like the rustic look. Going off again. Anyway, so I am, oh, and let me just quickly, before I go, finish talking about the swap. And then you will get in contact with your partner, like I said, after the 12th, and then you need to make a gift or a swap item, or maybe you have stuff already that you can just send. Maybe you guys decided, well, we're both doing both like slow stitching, let's swap scrap pieces of fabric or laces, or anything. Put your package together, have it mailed out by I would say at least the 19th, because otherwise it's not going to get there in time. Then share your project. If you're not on social media, or you're not comfortable with sharing it on social media, then I'm just ending off my thread again. Then just email a photo of your project to us, so we know that you did send your project out. Ideally, if you do have social media, Instagram, Facebook, I have a Facebook page as well as a Facebook group. put photos on there and add hashtag Summer Swap 2023 with your photo or your post. That would be greatly appreciated. Then we can see, everybody who's participating can see what everybody is receiving. So that is fun. Anyway, what else? Yes. Oh, and then there will be two winners, one from Beth and one from me, and they will receive the project that we were sending out to the winner. I'm going to send this pouch with some ephemera out with the tags and stuff that we're making. That's what I'll be sending out to the winner, and that draw will be on the 1st of July, Canada Day. It's close to 4th of July for America. And what else? And then you might be the happy owner of new ephemera. And that's what else. Anyway, so here I get to the point where I started off. This piece is sewn on and that piece, so I'm just going to end it off here again like we did before. So I'm going to go in the back, try to only catch my white fabric, go through. There's a loop. I'm going to put my needle through the loop. I hope you can see all of this. Pull it tight, maybe make 1 or 2 stitches. Do that again, and you probably don't need to do it twice. I just do it twice. Go through the loop again and just make 1 little stitch, and then cut your thread. And then I'm going to start any other place. So let's say I'm going to start there next, because why not? I want to get around this thing and just keep going. So when I get to here where my doily is, I am going to do the exact same thing. Make sure you catch the white there and just keep going. So I'm going to finish this off camera and then come back and we can do I think I'm gonna finish this here, and then we'll come back. Maybe we'll come back tomorrow, and we'll start doing some stitches with embroidery thread on top of our fabrics. So continue if you're working or following along. Make all the stitches around and sew all your fabrics on, and then we'll work on this again a little bit more tomorrow. I don't want to drag it out too much. I've already said a lot of stuff that maybe if you're a beginner it might feel overwhelming and it might feel like, oh no, this is too much work for me. It's not. It's just all about just sitting, making stitches, mindlessly doing it. That's the fun part about it. Anyway, I will see you again tomorrow, and when we finish, or not finish, but work a little bit more on this. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you're following along. I did say I started a Facebook group because I wanted to. I have a Facebook page, and I just decided to make a group as well, because with the 100-Day Project, a lot of you said, oh, I'm doing this with you, I'm following along, and I was thinking it would have been nice to see photos of your project. So my Facebook group is Miemie's Keepsakes as well. I will link that in the description box as well, and at the moment this would probably be the first thing I post on the group. And please go ahead, leave comments, leave photos. If you're from other channels, you're welcome. You don't have to just leave photos from my projects. You can leave posts from your channel or other channels, and maybe you're following my group, you start following another group because it's very interesting. Anyway, we'll go into the group a little bit more later. But thank you for watching, and I do appreciate all your support. If you have not yet, please like and subscribe, and we'll continue on our red pouch tomorrow. Bye.